Hello everybody, once again you join me in the kitchen with a cup of tea. This is now the fourth take of a video. Two of these takes were before Christmas, one was just now. I screwed up monumentally, so I apologise. Well, even though you're not going to see it, I apologise for that. But I thought I would do a really quick video to kind of reiterate something that my best friend Claire said this time, or well, a few days earlier, this time last year. For those of you who didn't see it, it's a little video that you can look through my archive, scroll through the hot men, and it's called the Happy Jar. Basically, all the Happy Jar concept is that you find a jar. Handily happen to have a jar just out of camera shot. You name it as your happy jar. This is my happy jar. It shall be my squishy. I shall call him Squishy. And you basically fill the happy jar with pieces of paper that have good memories on them. So if you've had a particularly good day, or something good has happened to you, or if you've helped somebody out, and you feel proud about it, you can write it down with the date, stick it in the happy jar, and then at the end of the year you can actually look through the pieces of paper in the happy jar and reflect on what good times throughout the year that you've had. Because oftentimes in life, this is particularly true with last year, a lot of crap can happen and you can feel really down for quite a lot of the year, and you tend to only really focus on the bad things that happen to you, whereas you really ought to be focusing on the good, because there is a lot of good in this world, and unfortunately it tends to get overlooked. So however, I didn't actually have a jar. I'm still not going to be using this jar. This isn't going to be my happy jar this year. Unfortunately, this is for jam making. So instead what I did was I improvised and I made myself little origami envelopes with a little crane on them, because they're cute. So I made 12 of these, each with different pieces, like patterns of origami paper, so I knew which month was which. Ended up buying a little notepad and what have you. No, wrote down probably about 80 or so good things that have happened, because you know you forget to do things, at least I do. I'm not very good at keeping diaries. But yeah, I thought I would share with you the top 5 things. I did do 10 in earlier videos or earlier takes of this, and it just took way too long. So the first is Wednesday the 2nd of January, which is that shortly after seeing Claire's video on the Happy Jar concept, I actually met up with her for lunch. I would arrange it anyway, so I met up with her on the 2nd of January for lunch at a local restaurant. We sat and talked for about 3 hours, and it was good to see her. It was a right laugh, is what I've put. And it usually is whenever I see Claire. We don't really get to see each other as often as perhaps we ought to. Since I've been at university and she's been at college or she's been at work, we haven't really actually had the chance to be in the same place at the same time all that often, which is a real shame. And it, so whenever I actually get to see her, it really brightens my day, and she's fantastic. I love Claire to bits, as I've told her on many occasions. The next is Tuesday the 22nd of January, which is when I actually helped somebody out at the car park at university. So last January we ended up with quite a lot of snow, quite a lot of icy weather, and well, I say quite a lot. It's nothing in comparison to what North America has got recently. Excuse me. However, for us, for England, it's a monumental amount of snow, and it's like, that deep. The car parks at the university, they can't grit, they can't salt them because of liability and legal reasons I don't quite understand. So usually it's kind of parking there at your own peril. And so I was just walking back to my car, which I managed to park in an ice-free car parking space. And I noticed there was this one girl trying to get out of the car park, and she couldn't do it at all, so I went over and checked with her, and I was just like, "You're right." She's just like, "Yeah, I can't get out of this car parking space, I'm supposed to be in lecture." She's just like, "I was just trying to see if I can realign, because I'm perilously close to the car next to me." So anyway, I ended up finding the groundskeepers, finding a shovel, and creating enough rough surface underneath the tyres that she could actually get out, which was fine, and she thanked me, and she saw me the day after anyway, and she thanked me again, so that was really nice. Next is the 28th of June, which is when I bought my first car. Then got a job that was pretty much half the distance that I have to travel pretty much every day to get to uni and back, and so it was now a necessity for me to get my own car. So I ended up with a little Citroen C2 in yellow, which I've put at the bottom. So pleased with my purchase. I can honestly say has been true. I love that little car. It drives like a dream. Have had a few teething problems with it, but anyway, nothing that can't be fixed, so that's good. Next is huge, this one, August the 14th and 15th. I told my mum that I'm gay on the 14th of August of last year, and she told my dad the day after, when I was planning on, telling him. Typical. It says, see, I came out to my mum on the 14th, she told dad the day after. Both mum and dad have been very supportive and have told me how proud they are of me. Never have I loved them more. And that to this day is absolutely true. I love my parents to bits and they couldn't be more accepting of anybody or anyone. I also told them, shortly after I told them that I'm gay, I told them about the fact that I'm on the LGBTQ Society committee as men's welfare officer, and they were so chuffed and so happy that I managed to find a bunch of like-minded people who who understand what it's like to be in my shoes, who understand that equality is something that we should all stand for, and so they were really happy with me, and I was nearly in tears because I love them so much, so that was really sweet. And then for lastly, 1st of September 2013, which is my 21st birthday, I had a wonderful meal with my best friends, or those that could make it at least. Had a wonderful time, and it made me realise how special they all are. And I met up with Claire. Unfortunately she was in Cornwall at the time, so she couldn't make it. Well, not unfortunately she was in Cornwall, it's probably better to be in Cornwall than it is to be here. Anyway, she couldn't make it, and I managed to meet up with her a little bit later, and had like a delayed birthday party with her, so that was really sweet. I mean, of course there are other things that have happened in the year that I can't fit into a video because otherwise it would be huge. I mean, it's taken up 8 minutes so far. Yeah, so this is just purely to give you ideas, you inspiration for what you can do as New Year's resolutions, because often it's really difficult to decide what you want to do. It's also really rather difficult to actually stick to those things. So often people come up with things like, oh, I'm going to quit smoking, or go to the gym and get fit. It never really happens the way that you plan. But at least for something like this, you can stick to it a hell of a lot easier. Pardon me. You can stick to it a hell of a lot easier. You can actually do it. It's not like writing a diary or writing a journal. You just kind of do it as it comes, and you actually have something to write about that you can look back through and kind of smile about and joke about, and like digging the girl out of the car park. I'd completely forgotten about that. Genuinely had, and when I came back to read through it, it made me chuckle and made me think, oh yeah, I did that. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm going to stop prattling on because I actually need to have breakfast and then go to uni. But yeah. Before I go, there was one last thing that I was going to do, which was last night on Tumblr. I asked people to ask me questions, and I've got an anonymous question, which I think might be from Erin. I'm not entirely sure. She liked the post, so that kind of gives it away a little bit. How do you feel about makeup as an art form, and what is your favourite movie? Makeup is an art form. There's no other way to describe it. It's because if I tried to put makeup on somebody, I wouldn't have the foggiest clue what the hell I was doing. I mean, it doesn't help that I'm colourblind, partially. But as far as actually like where you start, I'm presuming you start with foundation, but I could be completely wrong. I have no idea. When you also consider that, Claire, my best friend, at college, she studies special effects and makeup and that kind of thing. And the stuff that she does is absolutely bloody fantastic. I can find you some. And if it loads in on the Tumblr app... Come on. I mean, she's done things like Ziggy Stardust. She's become a witch. She's become an Ent from Lord of the Rings. Zombies. She's burnt herself using cryolan gelatine and IPA paint. I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I'll put a link to Claire's makeup blog in the description so you can have a look at it. It is an art form, there is no two ways about it. I wouldn't have a clue where to start, neither would I have a clue where to start with a watercolour or oil painting. Thus it is an art form. What my favourite movie is... I don't really know, actually. It would probably be something really silly, something really... I don't know, something like Saving Grace or Finding Nemo, you know, just harmless films that you could watch over and over again that don't really require that much thought, that are funny, that are short. You know, something like that. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video. I shall stop talking to you now. I realise I'm kind of waffling on. Anyway, bye!